So now you're talking about the big things. Big things as in somebody who has suffered an accident and has undergone an amputation. Somebody who has gone through a bitter divorce. Somebody who has suffered a loss of loved one. Somebody who is filing bankruptcy. Somebody who has been diagnosed with a terminal illness. Now there cannot be gratitude for these things. And so why is it that a technique that was working so well a moment ago for all these other situations fails to work here? Let me explain it with an analogy and then we can proceed further. Say for example, you are driving a car at 100 km per hour and an animal crosses the road and you have to brake really hard and your speed comes down drastically. Now before you proceed any further after this incident, you have to put your feet to the clutch, unclutch, come to a neutral and then engage a gear that is relevant to your existing speed. So for example, you are at 40 km per hour, you can easily engage the third gear and move on. But if you have come to an absolute standstill or maybe at 5 km per hour, then you will have to engage the first gear. So different gears for different and relevant speeds. Similarly, different techniques for different psychological spaces and inner energies. So when we are faced with these really difficult situations, life has hit us so hard that we have almost been numb. There is hardly any positivity, trust, gratitude left. Then gratitude is not exactly the technique to engage with. As is with all these techniques, there is an understanding which is actually the space of unclutching from the existing situation, and then is the real technique which is the gear to move forward. The prelude of understanding that the current technique would require is that the reality doesn't care about your feelings. It's extremely disheartening. That there is an inevitability to the isness of this moment. This doesn't feel so good. But look at it this way. No matter how much you want that the sun may rise to the west, north or south, it will continue to rise to the east. No matter how much you want that the Himalayas become green with all the flora, fauna, waterfalls and rainbows, they will continue to be brazenly bare and chillingly cold. So there are places in reality that really don't care about how you feel. This big disaster, this big problem has come into your life and the reality really doesn't care about how you feel. I know you don't want to hear this. There is a lot of inner resistance coming to when you listen to these words. But please bear with this for a moment. Please look at the inevitability and reality of this situation as it is. The more you are able to be with this thought of isness and inevitability of the situation, a space would start opening within you, where you can see that the mental resistance to this situation, to the isness, to the inevitability of the situation is totally futile, meaningless and absurd. Once you can see this clearly, that the pain is real, but the repeated suffering created by the resistance of the mind to the existing situation is unreal. Now is the time to engage the relevant gear, the gear of technique, and the technique is surrender. Now surrender is not resignation. It's not, oh, what can I do anyway? No. Surrender is quite very different. It's really hard to put it in words, but if I were to try to explain the psyche of surrender, it would be something like this. This big disaster has happened to me. I didn't want it, but then it has happened anyway. It's extremely painful and I am suffering. Please help. Please help because I do not want to suffer anymore. I've had enough. I accept what is as it is. Please help because I do not want to suffer. To whom is the help being asked really doesn't matter. Just be in the space of openness and asking for help. So please spend some time with the prelude thought of accepting what is and then engaging with the gear of technique of surrender. And this should be enough. Not just enough. In fact, when we are able to surrender to such big disasters in our life, a total transformation awaits us. There is a possibility of phenomenal transformation on the inside as well as the outside. So let's do this. Let's do this as an experiment. Let's take it up as a challenge.